Hey, how's it going? Caleb from Cubo Gaming. This is going to be the first episode in the series we're starting, Buy or Pass. I'll be giving my personal opinion as well as some objective viewpoints on the game titles that we talk about, to kind of help you decide whether it's worth buying or maybe just passing on. Today I'll be going over a game that sort of just popped up out of nowhere on my Steam homepage, Wild West and Wizards. Now, before I get into how I feel about the game, just keep in mind that the game was developed by a small studio called Lava Boots Studios. It's made up of a couple devs, so I'll be judging it with that in mind also. Okay, so jumping straight into the game, you automatically get the Western theme that the devs created here. The game really does have an old-timey Western look to it. The houses feel appropriate and the world looks unique. The textures and models are really low poly and basic, but it's kind of what gives the game charm in a way. The look of the game is unique, and I think it's supposed to be that way, so kudos to the devs for pulling off this look. The map design isn't bad. I say not bad because at first glance it seems small and barren, but once you get a few hours into the game, it really does start to feel big, and it flows really well together. And I didn't get bored traveling from place to place. There always seemed to be a bandit camp to wipe out and loot, or some location I was curious to explore. So in the map, there are various towns and outposts. All of these towns have the same basic layout: jail, inn, doctor. The towns look exactly the same. I kind of wish there was some sort of uniqueness to each town. The thing I do like is the wizard building looks different inside of each town, which is nice to see, and it kind of gives each town somewhat of a unique feel because of the wizard building. So the map is split into 3 parts, and at first I actually didn't know this, and I was kind of disappointed until I actually unlocked the next 2 parts of the world. And let me tell you, this world is pretty big. This opened up the game for me and really blew away how impressive this world was that the devs created. There are a lot of locations that have vibrant colors and unique designs here. The desert part of the map is great, but it kind of got bland. I was looking for some trees and color, and that is exactly what the other parts of the map did for me. The upper area is a field type area, and the other is a forest area with trees and bushes. Honestly, I'm really impressed with this one. And I can't forget to mention the cave systems in the game. The caves in the game are really great. Some caves have intricate designs with little puzzles spread throughout that aren't too hard to solve, but give you a little bit of a challenge. And some caves are actually huge. I found myself wanting to explore the caves and find special loot or something. So the map design is great. I think the devs did a really good job with it. I think it's really important to talk about the combat in the game. Basically, you start out as one of 3 classes: Gunslinger, Wizard, and Witch Doctor. Each of these classes have their own unique skill tree that you can level up. Each have a unique feel and can really change up the combat style which you are most appealed by. Now, along with this, you have these abilities at the bottom center of your screen. These are special abilities that you unlock by finding scrolls around the world. I think these are great, and I found myself really taking advantage of these in all kinds of combat situations. The weapons in the game are kind of limited. You got the rifle, revolver, shotgun, and repeater. Now, you can find upgraded versions of these guns along the way with some different skins on them, and I actually found myself mixing up the weapons based on the combat situation I was in. I also want to mention that I was kind of unimpressed by the reload animation, but it kind of grew on me. There are only a few enemy types. Usually you come across bandits, wizards, and the occasional scorpion. Honestly, I would have liked to see more variety. You also encounter a variety of bosses throughout, and they can be entertaining, but basically they're just regular enemies that have a lot more health, but I enjoyed the fights anyway. Overall, the combat is extremely bare bones and you aren't going to find any kind of deep combat system, but there was enough to keep me satisfied. I think I should mention that the other one thing about the combat that kind of got on my nerves was the NPC's aim is spot on. No matter where you go, the bullets will hit you 95% of the time, and you kind of have to just deal with the damage and heal. It's not game breaking, but it would be nice to not be constantly hit with bullets and no way to dodge the attacks. Moving on to the story, the main story takes about 20 to 30 hours to beat, and it's not bad. I was interested in it. Of course, with any RPG, there are side quests and missions to go on, other than the main story, and I think that's where the game really shines. The main story is interesting, don't get me wrong, but I found myself enjoying and exploring the world and finding out more about it. Now, this is what I'm most impressed with in the game. The story is basically that there is conflict with the magic users because there's been dark magic sprouting up and you have to stop it. Nothing new or groundbreaking, but it really is special when you're on a side quest and you find out that the people in the world really did struggle with trusting magic users. It kind of knit the world together and gave this depth that, honestly, I wasn't really expecting. Like I said, the game is at its best when you explore the world and find random quests, like stumbling on an abandoned town and you read through the journals of the people missing to figure out what happened to them, or finding a shack with a dead body in it and figuring out what the cause was. Some of the side quests can be really short, and I would hope that the story would be more fleshed out, but some were extremely detailed. I also want to mention that there aren't really any memorable characters in the game. Your options for talking to NPCs are really limited and don't give you many options. But with the size of the dev team, can't really complain. The music in the game is fantastic. I just wish there was more of it. I can recall maybe 4 or 5 tracks, but all are really unique and they sound great. There's just something about walking around the world and then one of the songs kicks in. So the game is priced at $15 on Steam right now. For what you're getting, this game is a steal. The combat isn't anything special and the game isn't really refined, but you really do see the passion that the devs poured into the game. The game was developed with care, and it shows. If you like RPGs, it may be a little bit of a strange one with the Wizards and the West theme, but it's worth the buy and well worth the experience. That's all I got for this one. A like and subscribe is always appreciated. Also check out some of our other videos, and we also have a gaming podcast and just launched a Discord server, link below.